Lørdag den 12. februar 2011 afholdte Kulturevents i København en støttekoncert med den internationalt anerkendte sangskriver og musiker Michael Ruff. Den Grammy-nominerede kunstner har udgivet mere end 12 solo-CD'er på verdensplan og har spillet med mange kendte kunstnere som Natalie Cole, David Sanborn og mange flere.
Michael, we are glad that we are able to interview you here today. Music has always been a part of your life, a huge part of your life. How did it start?
You know, when I was 3 years old, we had a piano. And I just had a sound when I sat at the piano. So it's always been a gift. And I can always say I've been a musician. I never wanted to be a fireman or, you know, teacher or whatever.
Since you were 3 years old?
Always been a musician, yeah. And my family life kind of went in different directions, so I didn't study through the years. It became more of a natural gift than a disciplined gift.
Okay.
But it's just always been there.
So was your family musicians as well, or?
They're all musical, yeah,
Right.
none of them professionally.
Yeah. So you just had the sound?
You know, when you put a kid at an instrument, whether it's a guitar or a drum, even you can give 5 kids the drumstick and one of them has a sound. And the other ones don't have the same sound. It's an intangible thing, but it's beautiful. So I had a sound on the piano even when I was 3. And I was a prodigy, you know. Oh, he's going to be great.
And you stuck to that sound?
Well, it's just always been there.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
So you said that you did not get any education. Did you get a lot of success from the beginning, or was it a tough start?
I don't have any formal musical education, but I had a lot of world experience musical education. I have an uncle who was a jazz guitarist and a teacher, and I lived with him when I was 9 and 10 years old. He exposed me to a lot of music, the Beatles and Chick Corea and Oscar Peterson. And so
that was your source of inspiration?
Yeah.
So where did that take you, like as you grew up as a teenager and you started playing in bands, and how did your musical career develop?
Right, well, I guess it's a career when you start making money, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, I haven't experienced that yet. But when I was a kid, yeah, I played in different bands, and you go from band to band. I played a lot of blues bands because I grew up on the East Coast. And then I started writing songs and singing because the guitar player would get more attention from playing solos. So I couldn't just sit back there behind the keyboard. I had to start singing. So that's when the songwriting began, when I was 14 or 15. And then you just learn and you grow as you go along. And one band leads to another, and someone offers you a job with someone else, you know, and it steps, hopefully in a good direction.
Did you have a plan as you went along, or did you just go along, see what happened?
I didn't have a plan. My plan was to have fun and do what I enjoyed doing and get attention and make some money. But usually when you're a musician, you go and play with the people you really want to play with, the kind of music that you like to play. And one opportunity leads to another, so you just follow it.
Your name, holy is your name, holy right verse. We'll start now. I've been holding back on something so strong. Locked behind the gates for way too long. I got the word from heaven above. Can break the chains with the waters of love. Break the chains with the waters of love, yeah.
Later, that gift took you far. I mean, you've been writing music for David Sanborn and Natalie Cole and other names on the jazz sky. When did you realize that you had such a big gift?
Oh, I don't know. I always knew it was a gift, but you never know where it's going to take you. And then I've been really just blessed. I mean, I feel like I've just been really lucky too, you know. I always had a good opportunity and I met the right people, and you know, it's not anything I planned out. One thing just led to another. And I've been really lucky to have artists. Normally I don't write songs for the artists, but I would write songs for myself, and then the artists would hear them. Either I'd send them a song or they'd hear them live and then record it. So most of it comes from social musical activity.
Okay, yeah. That's smart. But the man, Michael Ruff, like you had the musical career going on, and then at the same time, of course, there was also you as a person. How did you deal with living a musical life which is so uncommitted in a way? You go from one concert to the other, one place to the next. How did that work for you?
When you're young and you're a musician, this doesn't apply to everyone, but you find your personality in what you do. So I was a musician first, and that's what identified me. But I became a person much later. And I became a man. I don't know if I've done that yet either. But that came later, when I learned how to actually be a human being, aside from my musicianship. Because that was the only thing I had that carried me through everything. And I was identified as the musician. So now, I mean, I've learned to be a person. And the music is a gift, but it's not the person, you know. So that came later.
But how can you, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, how can you move from having your identity in music into being a person, as you describe? What is the difference?
Well, you start living your life and you realize that the musician part doesn't carry you through everything. It's like if you say, I work for Walt Disney, you know, you're the guy who works for Walt Disney. But what does that have to do with your real life? You know, that doesn't make you the husband or the father or the brother or the friend. That's just false. So.
What kind of world is this?
Kind of world is this?
Someone with your name is sleeping on the street tonight. What kind of world is this?
Kind of world is this?
We welcome lovers, but we gather for a fight
In this world,
Yeah, I don't wanna be solitary, solitary, no, no. Don't wanna be solitary, don't wanna be solitary, no. What kind of world is that?
what kind of world is this?
Once you wrote on your homepage, you wrote that it was easy for you to fall in love, but it was hard for you to commit. Was that because you had your identity in the music, or?
That's because I'm a man. That's what happens. And you're a young man, you know, you're enamored with everything and everyone, and you don't feel like you need to commit. I didn't know what the word meant, to commit, but I have learned.
And during that journey, you got married first time and got I think, one child, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember correctly. Ended out in a divorce later on. Was that a big shock for you, or was that also a bump along the road?
It wasn't a big shock. It wasn't a big shock because we weren't getting along, and we didn't really have enough faith to carry us through the hard times. And well, she kind of wanted to quit, and I said, you know, we're married, you don't quit. But she quit, so that's the way it goes. But we have a beautiful daughter who now is 19 years old. And, you know, life. Lots of people get divorced.
Yeah, life moves on.
Life moves on, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then you met your second wife, Grace, and she brought something new into your life, a new perspective on God and on life. How did that work out?
Well, I was a little bit older, so that helped her. And she was a person of faith. So she started bringing me to church. We started going to church together. And at that time in my life, I had been through so many things and felt like I never really found where I belonged. And I couldn't find it in people, and I couldn't find it in myself. I couldn't find it in career or travel. And I started having a relationship with God. And there was a distinct moment in my life when God made himself clear to me. And I said, in the middle of the night, 3 in the morning, Jesus, are you real? Is this true? Did you save me? And he answered me just like we're sitting here, talking to each other. And he said, it's real, it's true, I'll never leave you. I've been calling you for a long time. Where have you been? And when you have that experience, you want everyone to have that experience because it's not about you anymore, you know? I mean, I don't, even people who don't believe in God don't really think that they made the universe, right? They believe in something, and they're always looking for it. But when you get in touch with your Creator, and your Creator says yes, and you say, okay, I belong to you now, then it does change your life.
I close my eyes, the sun upon my face, dark if not for you. You have the power to give, to take away. All belongs to you. Every breath within my lungs, I give you praise. You are the music of my soul. Life is sweet, life is yours. You are God, you are God. Life is sweet, life is yours. You are God, you alone are God. And all for your children you came.
Michael, this longing that you were talking about, have you always had that longing in your life?
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody has a longing in their life. You know, you're looking for something. With me, I was always looking for truth and a place and you know, a home, like where your soul is comfortable. So
it's always been there.
it's always been there. Yeah.
But then why did it happen right there, that night?
You know, I came to a place where I had to choose to commit to my wife, and I had been in church and I've been learning about Jesus, and my heart was softening, and I was starting to realize that, wow, you don't get anything out of life unless you're giving. And I reached a place in my life where I could not find a home and find true understanding in any one person, not even a wife, or a brother, or even your parents. And I always felt, you know, just outside the door, like no one really is ever going to understand me and forgive me, you know. and I'm never going to be able to forgive myself. And in the person of Jesus Christ, bang, it was like, this is where you came from, I'm your creator, I love you, I forgive you, I died for you. And it just came all home at one moment. Yes, it's true.
But why did you have to forgive yourself?
Oh, everybody, I think, has to forgive themselves. Because you know in your heart that you're not quite, you know, we all have, I don't know, sinful thoughts or whatever. And that doesn't mean bad things. It just means we're human. And the human heart is, it's not like a perfect little gem, you know. The human heart is pretty wicked to begin with. And anybody who says that people are born good has never taught a preschool with 2-year-olds. But anyway, I think that you realize that you're the only one who carries the things that you do and the decisions that you make and the guilt that you have. You carry that with you. And you have no place to put it. You can't get rid of it yourself.
So that was where you felt you could get rid of it?
Yeah. I felt that I was forgiven. I didn't even understand why or how. But I knew that I was forgiven.
So how did that change your life afterward?
You feel as if you have been a captive, and then you feel like you've been set free. You feel like you have this weight on your shoulders of this thing, this life thing that you'll never understand. All of a sudden, that life thing, you realize, oh, it's not my responsibility. It's not about me. I'm a created person. I've been created by God. You know, life, you look around you, the world is a beautiful place. You know, there's trees and grass and waterfalls and air and things moving. It's life itself. Life itself knows how to worship God without having to think about it. Human beings have to think about it, and we always apply it to ourselves. And that leads to who? Leads to yourself. But when you learn how to worship as one of God's beautiful creations and a special creation to Him, then you say, okay. And you become a blade of grass, and you're worshiping, you're reaching towards the sun.
But how do you worship?
I know that sounds real hippie, but it's not. I mean, it's very practical.
But how do you do that? How do you worship?
You worship by giving thanks and realizing that you didn't make life. He made life. And you say, thank you for this life, you know, and how can I make the best of life? And look at all the gifts that He's given us, you know. Some of us have musical talent, others have intelligence, others, you know, are able to build things, whatever. But you say, how can I serve with this gift, you know?
So when you give a concert and play music, is that worship?
Oh, always. Always. Yeah, you have to give credit where credit is due, you know. It's not my music. It's my version of God's music.
Sinners saved by grace. Everything I do for Jesus. Before you saved me, everything I did was all about me. It was all about me.
Oh, well, I can't believe that you could love someone like me.
Somebody once told me he went to hell to set the captives free. He's done the same for me. I'm gonna praise
Look
His
what the
name.
Lord has done. Look what the Lord has done. Look what the Lord has done.
He's given me the song I sang.
Look what the Lord has done.
A lot of people have as the highest ambition in life to become known, get a career, become a musician, have everybody adore them. What is your advice to such people who have that ambition in life?
That's scary. You know how they talk about selling your soul? You really do. In a not so subtle way, you sell your soul. Because if you're famous, you can never really trust the people around you, why they like you. You know, do they really like you, or do they just like you because they've seen you a million times on television? Fame has this emptiness to it. And I know a lot of famous people, and some of them have become human beings after the fact, after they've had to choose between a part of their career and staying with their wife or their husband or their children. And some of them just live in a bubble their entire lives. And the bubble can stay because they have the means to surround themselves with people who'll say yes all the time. But inside they have, you know, that longing we were talking about? Every person has that longing. Every person needs to be loved. Every person needs to be forgiven, you know?
So how is it possible to have the ambition for fame and yet at the same time keep yourself in a balance?
I think either you give God the glory or you try to get the glory for yourself. There's no middle. There really isn't. You have to choose. And the Bible says the path is really narrow. It really is narrow. So you have to choose. And if you choose early on, then maybe you won't be famous, you know. But you'll have a solid heart, and if the bus happens to hit you, you know where you're going.
So where are you going? Not when the bus hits you, but what is your direction in life? What are you moving towards?
You know, I just take it one day because I have kids, and to me, I just try to keep the sink clean and food in the refrigerator and keep my heart right so that whatever I do, whether it's go out and tour or stay home and play with the dog, that my heart is in the right place and that I'm giving from a real and genuine love, you know? Otherwise, I have an agenda, and if you have an agenda, then you're not really giving. You're giving for a reason, you know?
Michael, you have just released a new CD, You Are My Song. What is special about this CD?
It's not like any of the other CDs. They're all special. These songs are very close to my heart. There's worship songs, congregational worship songs, and just love songs to God out of thankfulness. So one of the lyrics is, you know, I am your instrument and you are my song. So that pretty much sums it up.
That sums your life. That's your life motto, so to speak.
For now, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Michael, thank you so much for letting us speak with you.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.